At the time of recording, we're about 1 month out from the UK theatrical release of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It looks fucking amazing, and my hype is definitely at an all-time high. Then a week or so back, Paramount dropped the bombshell on us all that a third movie is already in development before the release of the second one. Not only that, they're bringing a Knuckles series to Paramount Plus, and, if a recent article on Giant Freaking Robot is to be believed, we're getting a Tails movie too. Hey, and it's worth pointing out that they were actually the first ones with that scoop on the Knuckles show, and they were right. Anyway, ever since this Sonic Cinematic Universe announcement, I've seen a lot of people online voice their concerns as to whether Jim Carrey will stay on beyond Sonic 2. It's certainly true that he rarely does sequels, and when he has done, they've usually been capped at 2. In the case of Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, although there is a third one of those in development. So I'd like to address that in this video. First things first, I'm certain Paramount wouldn't have announced Sonic 3 without knowing full well that Jim Carrey has already signed on for it. I think it's a guarantee. He's even expressed in past interviews that he was open to doing more movies as Eggman. He will be in Sonic 3. However, assuming this franchise continues to go from strength to strength and we continue to get Sonic 4, 5, 6, and so on, they will eventually need to find a solution to this problem. So here are some of my ideas around it. And please watch right to the end, as I will explain why I think we're going to see Jim Carrey signing on to more and more of these movies indefinitely. Anyway, let's look at how they can get around Jim Carrey leaving the franchise, and let's start with the obvious one. Number 1. Use other villains. On the surface, this is blatantly obvious. There are plenty of other villains to choose from in the franchise. The problem lies is whether it's Chaos, the Deadly Six, whoever, they are always, essentially puppets being controlled by Eggman. I've also seen it argued that Sonic's Rogues Gallery is pretty lackluster outside of Eggman and maybe Metal Sonic, Shadow if you want to include him, and I'd probably agree. But Cinematic Sonic is its own canon and is not tied to any of the old games, meaning you could take a villain like Mephiles the Dark from a crap game like Sonic 06, if you like it, that's cool, beef him up and make him into an absolute badass for the cinema. Think how Marvel have made obscure characters into box office smashes. The same could apply here. Number 2. Something happens to change his appearance. In the British Fleetway Sonic the comic from the 90s, Eggman at one point cocoons himself in a giant egg and emerges with a design change to match his cartoon counterpart. It was completely stupid then, and definitely shouldn't happen here. However, that's not to say that something couldn't happen here to have that effect. Eggman could emerge from an accident or whatever, still as the same character, but his appearance could be completely changed and perhaps he could more closely resemble the look of his video game counterpart. That way, you could keep the character in the universe, but switch out the actor. Mike Pollock in prosthetics playing the part of Eggman in the movie universe would be a dream come true for me, and probably for Mike Pollock too. Number 3. Agent Stone takes over. I think it's fair to say everyone loves Agent Stone. He's a hugely fun character played by a fantastic actor, who I think has already proved he has no moral objection to Eggman's behaviours and misdeeds. I can absolutely see Agent Stone taking over the villain role, should something happen that leads to Eggman leaving the franchise. Think Snively at the end of SatAM Season 2. I'd be down with that. But finally, to conclude this video, here's why I think Jim Carrey will stay indefinitely. Firstly, it looks like he enjoys it. It's a huge family-friendly hit for him that has let him go back to his 90s roots that made him famous in the first place. He seems to have a lot of fun playing the character. Secondly, in the bulk of the first movie, Jim Carrey is either seen in one indoor location, for example his truck, or he's shooting on a green screen somewhere sat in his ship. Or in the case of the second movie, he's inside a green screen studio interacting with CG creatures. If he was unsure whether he wanted to commit as much time to these movies in the future, I'd imagine the studio could easily make sure that his performances going forward were entirely in the studio on green screen locations where he could wrap his scenes in a week or two. But those are just my thoughts and ideas. Do you have any of your own? Do you think Jim Carrey is in this for the long haul? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you, and please like this video and subscribe if you've enjoyed the content. Many more videos are on the way. Cheers!